So this clip I'm about to show you is a guy named Jeremiah Johnson talking about how prophesying visions that don't come true is okay in the New Testament. I got this clip from a friend of mine who has a channel called The Love Agenda, so make sure you check him out, giving credit to him for showing me this clip, and let's go in.
There is this major lie going around in the body of Christ that if a prophet prophesies something and it doesn't come to pass, one miss makes them a false prophet. And I'm telling you, in the New Testament, you cannot find this anywhere. Most people are going to quote out of the Deuteronomy passage that talks about if a prophet missed a prophetic word, they should be stoned. But people don't read it in its context, okay? In its context, what it's saying is that if a prophet intentionally, if there is a motive in their heart that is trying to lead people astray through false prophecy, that's what makes them a false prophet.
Now, here's my thoughts on this. Actually, my facts on this is he says that the only time it's bad to visionize the future is when you're trying to lead people astray. Now, even if you aren't trying to lead people astray and you're trying to give people real accurate information of what you say the Lord told you is going to happen and it doesn't come to true, it still leads people astray. Doesn't matter if it's for good or bad. When you put out false visions, you're a false prophet. As far as this only being in the Old Testament, he says nowhere in the New Testament does it say that there will be consequences if you put off a false vision to the people. It's still the same as the Old Testament, because when Jesus came, he came to fulfill the laws of the prophets, not abolish them. So anything that has to do with any sort of law concerning the prophets is actually been activated through Jesus Christ. It still lives today. And not only that, that just by doing something where you vision something to a herd of people and it doesn't come to true, it's not just spiritually wrong in the eyes of the Lord, it's morally wrong. Here's an example of what happened in the past. This is just one of the thousands of situations that happened. A Christian group predicts the world will be annihilated on Wednesday. I'm just going back. This is one I remember from 2015. The E-Bible Fellowship, an online affiliation headquartered near Philadelphia, has based its prediction of an October obliteration on a previous claim that the world would end on the 21st of May 2011. While that claim proved to be false, the organization is confident it has the correct date and time. According to what the Bible is presenting, it does appear that 7 October will be the day that God has spoken of, in which the world will pass away, says Chris McCann, the leader and founder of the fellowship and online gathering of Christians headquartered in Philadelphia. It will be gone forever, annihilated. McCann said that according to his interpretation of the Bible, the world will be obliterated with fire. Now, I'm not going to keep reading this, but you know that based on what Jeremiah Johnson said, as long as you're not intentionally leading people astray. I think this man, McCann, that ran this E-Bible fellowship, I don't think his intentions were bad. I think deep down, he really thought that this was going to happen. But if you read more and more, you'll see that the lives that were affected by it were numerous. You had people probably maxing out their credit cards, taking out equity, trying to squeeze in some like last couple weeks of pleasure on the earth, just going bankrupt right after finding out that this really wasn't going to happen. Those people were led astray. That's morally wrong. It made me want to dive into one of Jeremiah Johnson's sermons just to see more of how he thinks.
Another book that I brought is called The Power of Consecration, a prophetic word to the church. This is another encounter that I had several years ago where the Lord said to me that there will be two dueling brides that will emerge prior to his return, the harlot bride and the consecrated bride. And we're going to see dueling brides or dueling churches in the hour in which we're living in. And how many of us want to be a part of the right bride, right? We want to be one of those consecrated brides. So if those books could bless you, and I encourage you to go and grab them.
This guy has a prophetic vision that he wrote a book on. He's creating his own revelation. He's talking about two dueling brides. Nowhere in Revelation before Christ's return does it talk about two dueling brides. There's the harlot woman in Revelations 18, but she's not considered a bride. She's considered a prostitute. And then there's the bride of Jesus, which isn't really a woman figure. It's a city, the New Jerusalem, that comes down out of heaven after the harlot woman had already burned and withered. So none of these women, if these are even the two women that he's speaking of, they don't even meet for them to duel each other. I'm just trying to put it out there that this guy is completely insane. And he wrote a book on it, which is even worse. The type of situations in this book that he wrote that you see on the book stands at Dollar General, just radical situations.
And the problem is when we water down the gospel to put butts in seats, we strip the gospel of its true power. And the problem is when we water down the gospel to put butts in seats, we strip the gospel of its true power.
So, other words, Jeremiah, what you're saying is true. If that were the case, you wouldn't write a book to sell it and promote it at the beginning of your sermon that did exactly just that, talking about dueling brides before Christ's return, adding in your own words, having angels that were probably demons visit you to tell you these things. This is not of Christ. This is complete hypocrisy on your statement. All right, guys, thank you for watching my video, and I'm going to end it right here. If you liked it, make sure you show some love, subscribe. It helps my channel. And also, any comments you have, let me know what you think. But apparently this guy says it's okay to put out false visions of the future, that there'll be no consequence for it now. And just wanted to elaborate that that's not true. I think that he's pretty much trying to protect himself on his beliefs, because most of his sermons, most of his speaking is about visions that he's had about the future. So he wants to make sure he's safe if any of his visions or predictions don't come true. Point blank. But again, thank you for watching. One last thing, I would be doing an injustice to my viewers if I didn't preach at least once in this video. Guys, follow the 10 commandments, obey the Lord's laws and statutes. Like Jesus says, if we love him, we will obey his commands. Remember, he came back to fulfill the laws of Moses, not abolish them. So let's show our respects to the Lord and try to do this on a daily basis. That is the best for our salvation. See you on the next one.